Pac-12 football is presented by Taco Bell and brought to you by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. And by Allegiant Airlines. Together we fly. Well, in Berkeley, the Bears take the field. Nothing better than to watch the first half from the Molinari seats than a little Old Trapper beef jerky, wash it down with some Dr. Pepper, and wait for that Taco Bell at halftime.
Let's go. Let's go.
He has not missed many since he's been at Cal. And just think of what Oregon State fans and just visiting with their staff and administrators on the field before the game, they know what it means because it's been, it's been a long time to feel this good about football.
And it's real. That's the best part, is it's real. This team, they've got all the tools to make a run.
Longetto puts his foot in this. Champ Flemings will let it go for the touchback. And so the Beavs will come out. And look at that. There's your matchup, Yoke.
This one's pretty easy. Oregon State, you know their identity. Behind Chance Nolan and company, they're going to run the rock. If they can do that, they'll open up the play-action pass for Chance Nolan. And that's when he's been at his best. He had a tough two-game stretch where he struggled through the air last week. Other than 2 fumbles, he played one of his more complete games of the season. He's going to have to be extremely efficient again to get a win.
B.J. Baylor, the back, 7 yards a carry this year. Can he get outside? And this is a Cal defense that is missing some experienced people, and right away they come up with not just a stop but a strip. Cal has the ball on the first play. Marquez Bimage, a name that is emerging as the year has gone on, comes out with the ball. Well, we were looking at a tackle for loss and it ended up being, a big loss, the ball.
He just rips it out.
So that's the call on the field. Now this will be looked at as it is ruled on the field a turnover.
Good there.
Man, I would suggest that one needs to be looked at very carefully. And so I mean, it's a turnover, so it should be automatically reviewed, and they have stopped the game. I would offer that one may come back.
Yes, that's kind of where my initial instinct goes.
Yeah.
But you see the game plan from Cal on the first snap, Ted. They want their edge rushers, Marquez Bimage, getting the start today. Cameron Good is out. They want to get up the field. They do not want to allow B.J. Baylor and company to stretch this offensive line. He gets up the field, makes a play. Now let's watch. This is a great look right here. Both have the ball. I would say B.J. Baylor still has control.
Well, he's down there. And I'm going to say now the challenge becomes, and this is something that happened in some games earlier today, the ruling, the officials are supposed to let these plays go on the field and rule them fumbles. Is there going to be a clear view that overturns that call on the field? And I'm not, that one may, there was a game earlier today, this happened in the Michigan State game. If you're going to have officials officiate by letting it go, because it can be easily corrected, but then you say, wait a minute, I need clear, definitive view. That to me is a contradiction.
Yes, and this one, I don't know if there's going to be a clear view, Ted.
You just asked me my 2 cents worth. Until I see that ball out of Baylor's, the offense has to be given the ball here.
Yeah.
Unless you see a clear loss of the ball.
Well, it's kind of like right when you kind of see the helmet.
Yeah, it's a hard ride. I guess we're coming with this benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's
call. First down, Cal.
All right.
Not enough to, not enough evidence to overturn.
Not enough to overturn, so that's clearly where it is. And Marquez Bimage is an amazing story. It's something that is a story that's very relevant in this era of grad transfers. Grad transfers differ school to school. He had to apply to Cal as a grad student and be accepted. And then they said, well, did you think about playing football? Get into that more when we get a chance. Right now, it's Cal trying to take advantage of this big early takeaway. Christopher Brooks is the back. And there's that Oregon State Stout front trying to be that way with a defensive front that is able to be strong enough to let the tackling machine known as Avery Roberts and his wingman Omar Spades let them make a lot of plays.
Yeah, and it's important for this defensive front to make plays. They welcome back Simon Sandberg today. He's a nice addition for that defensive front, trying to slow down this offensive line and run game, force Chase Garbers to beat him through the air.
So Brooks got 4 on first down. What will he get on second? And not quite that much. Right to the 15. It will be a short third down coming.
All right, so for Chase Garbers, for Cal to get an upset in this game, he's got to anticipate his completion, specifically in the red zone right here, Ted. Deep balls, make it rain, and get some scores here, and Cal might rain. And then with his legs, we know what he can do here on third down.
They need really just almost a full 3. And Garbers is going to get it. It'll be out of bounds at the 10. It will be a first and goal as he hits Colin Moore, one of the Cal tight ends. They're going to play a lot of them. And Moore makes the catch. I believe that's going to be first and goal. Looks like the tip of the ball's touching the 10.
This is a great example of anticipation. 1, 2, 3, ball out. Chase Garbers got to throw it early today, Ted. Give his guys a chance to make a play once they get the ball in their hands.
Crawford motions in tight to the line. Brooks runs it. Ooh, and Brooks, he got spun around pretty quickly there. His forward progress was stopped by Keontae Shad, who really, first time we kind of saw him jump out last week in the game in Corvallis.
Yeah, transfer from Minnesota. And you know, when we talk Jonathan Smith, to me, you're always saying the phrase, common things on common ways, and that's how he's rebuilt this roster. Recruiting some guys out of high school, but getting guys like Keontae Shad, transfer, Avery Roberts, transfer from Nebraska.
So second and goal at the 8. Brooks alongside Garbers. Remigio motioning. Brooks powers straight ahead. Cal trying to, man, that's pretty impressive. It's Cal trying to a little bit beat Oregon State at Oregon State's game.
Well, yeah, and especially in this part of the field, right? Cal knows it. They lost some tight games, right? Cal fans remember the end of that Oregon game, very similar.
And look at this tactic, tempo, not allowing substitutions. Third down. Off the play action. Garbers, can he get there? Yes, he does. He gets the corner, and the quarterback that does so much with his legs gets in there for the score.
You know, Ted, I kept saying in the booth to myself, throw it, throw it, throw it. He had a chance to get to Remigio, and he just said, nah, I'm just going to run it. I'm going to beat the defense to the pylon. And again, leading rusher as a quarterback in the history of this conference, tacks on another nice run for a touchdown.
And in that play is a tactic we'll focus on because it's much more part of college football. You saw it twice. Cal running quickly to the line on third downs to not allow, by not substituting, not allowing the defense to sub. Longhetto out to add the point. Well, it is a takeaway by the Cal defense that leads to the first score.
Well, it took one play, and they stole a possession, and Chase Garbers, we've seen him for 4 years now do it with his legs, does it one more time. Early lead for the Bears.
Ball presented by Taco Bell. Cal getting off to a start, and actually, this is the 8th game of the year, and that becomes the 5th first possession on offense when Cal has scored a touchdown. That normally leads to a winning record. I mean, when you jump out in games like this.
Yeah, their problem has been when they've gotten to the red zone is not converting into touchdowns. And they get one there. Big conversion. Huge moment, right? This is a game of possessions, as we know, Ted. The styles in which we'll see today, they stole one early in the game.
So Longhetto to kick that one off. Boy, that's the kickoff mistake that's frustrating. 35-yard line as we see our Wendy's difference makers.
Well, we've talked all about the run game of Oregon State, and the conference recognized it. Noose Keobunam was the Pac-12 Offensive Lineman of the Week. Last week, his 24th start today for this offensive front. And then making his first start is true freshman Femi Oladejo at inside linebacker for the Cal Bears. Out in this game is Muelo Iosefa. So we'll see how he does, getting the bulk of the snaps today, as he normally had been rotating the last couple games.
All right, here's Fenwick, Deshaun Fenwick on the carry, punching it out. So let's get the Cal defense. Things happened too quickly the first time, but you know, Cal's missing, as you said, Mo Iosefa today, who's played well. Cameron Good is their stud linebacker. He's out today with an injury incurred during the week. In the spring game, when we were here for the spring game, they had just lost Brett Johnson, who was a key D lineman for them. And Peter Sermon has been patching together on this D and get young people some room. As Trey Lowe with a catch out of the backfield, but slips and goes down. And the last name we have to mention is Coin Deng, who was another key figure, super senior, has not played since week 2.
And they've got 7 guys they anticipated starting on this defense not playing in this game. Some, of course, have been lost for the year. Some have been lost for extended periods of time. And they know they got to stop the run. And it was kind of fun talking to Justin Wilcox yesterday about his defense. Said, look, this is old school, right? This is mano-a-mano. You know it's going to be physical at the line of scrimmage.
So third down, Chance Nolan from the gun. Wow, gets hit. Wanted to pull the trigger, it looked like twice and didn't. He got hit from behind first by Colin Gamble. That was the first man in, and then Trey Pastor finishes.
Well, Gamble comes off the edge. You see him at the bottom of the screen right there. And watch him, he's lined up against Luke Musgrave. Little corner blitz. Trey Lowe, he doesn't pass protect well, thinks he has him, gets pushed right into his own quarterback, and as you referenced Pastor, he finished it off.
So Luke Loescher to punt here for Oregon State. Nico Remigio returns for Cal. And Loescher with a very good punt. Remigio fair catches twice at the 20-yard line.
Well, how about this defense? Elevating first 2 possessions, 2 big stops, 7-0 Cal.
Football Saturday in Berkeley, the Tums Tailgate Spotlight. They do things a little style in Berkeley, but guess what? There's still pork products.
I didn't go for that.
I'm not sure what that is, so I won't even guess. But there you go, a little tri-tip. Come
Got
on.
the multicolored peppers in there.
Right in Yogi's wheelhouse.
The vegan try-to.
There you go. All right, first down here for Cal. They have the lead. Chris Street is now the running back as Garbers pulls it. And Garbers gets yards and gets a couple. Let's also focus on one real asset for the Cal offense this year. They have 7 points off a takeaway. They stripped by Bimage a fumble. Cal has lost 1 fumble this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty special to get through 7 games having lost 1 fumble.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch them, and Jonathan Smith said it this week, their record does not reflect the type of team that they are.
Whoa, there is Avery Roberts, but does not get Garbers. And then Garbers is able to wisely at the incompletion. As we see a look at one of our Wendy's difference makers.
Christopher Bucks, when he's healthy, he's got a chance to be a thumper as a back. And Avery Roberts, we're going to say his name all game long. And this young man, what he's done in conference play is just dynamic. You know, you saw him miss a tackle there. You're not going to see that very often with number 34.
All right, so third down now. Just about 6. They need the 30-yard line for the first. Street leaks out of the backfield. Garbers looking the other way and trying to hit the cross to Clark, and it's incomplete. So this will be a 3 and out. And that's what the Beaver defense wanted. Get the ball back and hopefully better field position.
Chase has got to play on time today, Ted. And by that, I mean at the top of his drop, he's got to get the ball out. If he waits, there's a chance for this defensive group of Oregon State to drive on balls, create turnovers, or not convert on a third down as we just saw.
Jamison Sheehan punts it away for the Bears. Bradford got a fair catch this for Oregon State. Talking about, we have some veteran offensive linemen on both sides here today. Here's a young man that's not playing, though he wishes he would, but Michael Safell medically retiring at the beginning of the year. Scholar athlete, sat in on our meetings yesterday, learned how little we actually know. Therefore said, I'll educate you all. Put a mic on me today.
Check, 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 check. Coming into Yogi and Ashley in the studio. All right, man. All right, Simo. Let's get it today, baby. Let's get it. Best drill today, man. What do you think, Val? Oh, it's all I look forward to. A little sumo right before.
And Nolan taking a shot, going on first down off play action for fast man and Champ Flemings. It's been a very strong part of Oregon State's game this year. Nolan has been a good downfield thrower, just missed here.
Yeah, I like the opportunity to go to Flemings, but he also had his back wide open. BJ Baylor on the wheel route uncovered. You're not going to get many of those opportunities in this game. And talking to Jonathan Smith on the field in pregame, he said, if we can get Chance going in the passing game, it'll loosen things up because he knows the focus from Cal's defense will be the running. Him to the ground.
Well, that was a good throw by Nolan. He put that right where Harrison could catch it and in motion. But Gamble made the nice play, and it will be fourth down. We should also say, while we're looking at a player that got banged up, Oregon State, with its excellent offensive line, though, is missing one of its stalwarts today. Jake Levengood is not playing. He is dressed. He has a helmet on, but Jim Mahalchek, the terrific O-line coach, said before the game, it's when you have trust in the backups, you don't have to press. And so Marco Brewer is playing the left guard for Levengood. Now it is fourth down, and here comes Coletto. This has been a fourth down specialty for the Beavs this year. Now, is he going to hand it to Chance Nolan? What do you think?
They might go underneath his. No, he's just trying to draw him off sides.
Yeah. And eventually a timeout taken. So having both Coletto and Nolan on the field, hoping to attract a jump, didn't get it.
There's our guy, Michael Safell. He's an amazing story. He got recruited with Chase Garbers. Came here, started really since the moment he got to campus, Ted. All-conference player, Scholar Athlete of the Year, as you saw on the graphic a year ago. And as he's trying to figure out the next phase of his life, as he had to medically retire, he said, let me try this coaching thing on. And when you talk to the players, he's done a great job. Obviously can relate to them, but also can kind of be that bridge between the coaching staff and the student athletes.
You saw him working there on the sideline. We'll hear a little bit more from him as the game goes along. Loescher's punt. It's going to take a sideways skip out of bounds. Little pin count inside the 20, but that takeaway by the Bears and the early touchdown holds them the first quarter lead. Why do I think of Bill Walton when I see that? Two elements to the North standings. Obviously, with Oregon winning, the Beavs need a win to stay even. The Cougs. That's what you got to do. The Cougs jolting everybody today by just hammering ASU and Tempe. Remember, the Cougs on a tiebreak with the Beavers. So that now, all of a sudden, Jake Dickert is in the spot where maybe Washington State goes to Autzen with a chance. Wouldn't have thought that a couple of weeks ago.
No, so much credit to those players.
Yes, absolutely. As the Bears run straight ahead with Chris Street. And on our phenomenal podcast, which is anchored by Michael Molinari every week, we were talking this past week about who would be, like, say, the Pac-12 quarterback right now, who would be second team. And I've got to say, I kicked myself on Thursday about this, and I have to reinforce it today. Jaden Delora has to start getting that conversation.
Yeah,
the way that guy's playing, I got to tip your hat. He's dealing.
Yeah, and think about it. The guy who coached him, the guy who recruited him, gone. Like, the offensive staff, and he's really galvanized that side of the ball. A ton of credit to him.
It's second down now for the Bears. Chris Street is the runner, except here it's pulled back. Garbers with the keep. And that's going to leave the Bears short third down. So Riley Sharp on the tackle for the Beavs. But here you go with that run game that It's exactly what Oregon State has done. They've been good on first and second, so your thirds are manageable.
Manageable. And what's interesting for Chase Garbers is you're watching him get to the line of scrimmage, and he's kind of waiting there because this Oregon State defensive front, we'll see if they do it on this snap, they'll move pre-snap. And Chase Garbers is trying to get to the line of scrimmage with enough time on the play clock to say, all right, what gaps are you in? And then giving his running back a clear picture. Yep, there they go again.
Garbers turns the shoulders and finds an open man. So good throw there and all the way out across the 40 to Jeremiah Hunter, with Avery Roberts eventually tackling, but a first down for Cal.
This is impressive from Chase, right? He's sprinting out to his left. Watch him just flip his shoulders to throw it right there. That's a really nice job. That is a hard throw, moving to your left, third and short, and be able to make a spot throw.
Was that Elite 11 level?
That, yeah, is an Elite 11 alum? For sure for him.
I knew that. Nice job here to Crawford. And that's down near the Oregon State 30. So is that would you classify that as an RPO play?
Yeah, 1,000%. And they do it again on this one. Watch. He's such a threat with his legs, especially when you have the tight end coming out the back door, faked everybody out. And another completion, another conversion.
Big job, 25 yards, and here's Cal now at the Oregon State 32. This time Chris Street gets the carry. Street, 210-pound sophomore, getting a little more run as the year moves along. And as you often find out when teams have multiple backs, they figure, hey, these runs run well with this guy. And that's what they use Chris Street with.
Yeah, and they all have such a different ability, and they're all fresh, right? And that's the thing for Cal in the run game that they're going to need in this one.
Well, this time Oregon State pounds right there. Picking himself up as James Rawls off the defensive front. And here's where you watch again. This is becoming a tactic. I think if you're a college football fan, you're going to see this more and more. Right here, Cal didn't huddle, but they go right to the line, and they don't sub, which prevents the defense from subbing.
Remember, this defense is without Jaden Grant. So third downs, communication, he's the nickel slot defender.
Right, to mention that Grant will be back for the second half. He can't play the first half with a targeting disqualification last week. Hunter there! Drop 6.
This is great from Chase Garbers, Ted.
And this is exactly the kind of throw that Cal's been wanting. He throws this on the money, Yoke.
Deep ball accuracy, he's worked on it all off season. And this is a guy who does not drop the ball. All he's done is make plays that result in first downs. 13 of his 19 grabs have done that. That is a huge MA. Missed.
We were talking, you and I were talking about this before the game up here. You see that throws that you see where you want to see air under the ball, that arc on the ball, that sometimes hasn't been there this year with Garbers. That was perfect. And now Longhetto's 45 had it all the way. Dario Longhetto. That was a yellow blizzard that we saw just when it looked like he was going to have a nice kick return.
Those are yellow raindrops right there.
During the return, holding receiving team number 45. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
So that's going to cost Oregon State almost 20 yards. So again, let's look. I mean, this is just, as a quarterback, Yogi, this is perfect. This is the lead 11.
Yeah, this is big time. A lot of chaos from tackle to tackle. He goes immediately to man-to-man coverage on the outside. And again, the phrase make it rain. So can you get the ball up out of the picture frame, touch the clouds, and drop right down? That's a hard throw to make. Chase Garbers worked on that all off season. They don't convert.
Well, the nice part is they did get 3 out of it, so it's 10-0 for Cal as B.J. Baylor goes to work. 2 years ago on this field, Chase Garbers did not play for Cal in that game, and Jamar Jefferson did not play for Oregon State in that game, and B.J. Baylor scored the winning touchdown with under 5 minutes to play.
Yeah, this is a team in Oregon State that is not going to flinch, and you see them hustle. There again, Ted hustle on the line of scrimmage.
Well, Baylor got outside there, and that's going to be the first, am I right, Sam? That's the first down for Oregon State.
Yeah, and to the point, they're not going to flinch. right? Down 14-0 as you referenced a week ago, Ted. But they know their identity. You talk to the guys in the offensive line, they're like, we're just going to lean on people. We call it a dirty 3, dirty 4 yards. We can do that first, second, third quarter. By the fourth quarter, we think we got a chance to really make some noise. As you see Coletto coming back in.
Coletto's in. Fenwick is in as the back. The deep back. Coletto lined up as a... That's called an I formation, kids. And here's Fenwick with a run. And as we when you're young, you don't realize this. When you get to be a fossil like me, you do everything in cyclical. This used to be a standard formation in football.
Yeah.
And you had a Coletto lead the way to block.
Yeah, lead blocker doesn't happen very often, but I love that Oregon State is doing it. I would anticipate them doing it more. Again, Cam Good out of this game. Again, Mo Iosefa out of this game. So can you lean and wear down this front seven of Cal?
There's a good quick snap from the Beavers, and that should be a first down gain. Jaden Roberts in the middle of the Cal defensive front. But it is a first down for Oregon State. So after 3 possessions that were -7 because the offense gave up 7 points on the first play of the game. Eventual 7 points, I should say. But here's Oregon State now with its first chance to establish some offensive rhythm. Baylor runs it off the left side to get about 4 as we get a nice addition there. A little sun busting through what's been a gloomy overcast hanging over Berkeley much of the day.
So we'll track this. We saw it, and you see it on film a little bit with Chance Nolan. He gets to the line of scrimmage, and he's got the ability to call audibles. So you see him sometimes when he's putting his fingers in between his ear holes in his helmet. He's saying, we're going to run to the side that has less defenders. They did it on the previous snap. Let's see if he does it here.
Bradford motions. As Baylor pounds it away again. And the other element of Oregon State that has been so unique for them is that they use multiple tight ends on most of their plays, but their tight ends line up in line. Both of them over 80% of the time, Musgrave and Vittoriano. They're not used as wideouts, as we see other teams using good receivers.
Yeah, these are physical, old-school tight ends. Vittoriano hosted Musgrave on his visit. And man, I just love the vibe, the responsibility we have in tight end. And the unique thing is they can catch it. They are inline tight ends that can block, but also make plays on a third down, as you see 88 split to the top.
And now the Beavs go to a 3 wide on third down. And Nolan's going to keep it. He'll get outside. Well, it isn't just Garbers. He's not the only quarterback that can make it happen with his legs. Chance Nolan takes it to the Cal 42.
Yeah, and this is not an RPO. This is zone read. This is run all day long. And the receivers, tight ends are all blocking. Chance Nolan, he's just reading the end man on the line of scrimmage. It's an easy read. Sees Braxton Croteau crash down. Okay, you want to turn your hips? I'm going to keep this thing and beat you with my athleticism.
And now the Beavs go to 3 tight ends, bringing Jake Overman in the game. Musgrave slides down in motion. So a throw, and Musgrave is open. Well, there's Luke Musgrave, the first Musgrave name we've mentioned. His uncle is the offensive coordinator for Cal.
Yeah, this is great. You'll see him here. It's going to run it out and then up, and it's perfect from quarterback Chance Nolan. Watch the fake, turn his eyes to the defense. Boom, no problem. That is timing, anticipation. That's deep play action. You said I formation for the kids at home. Play action for the kids at home as well. Big game, first down, Oregon State. We'll be right back on a sunny day in Berkeley.
Pac-12 football is brought to you by Jockey, the official apparel and comfort brand of the Pac-12 Conference. Look for Jockey's Made in America collection at jockey.com. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance, only pay for what you need. Very important name in Cal football history. Jeff Tedford here being honored. Those are a bunch of former players that all played for Jeff, who is in retirement right now after coming back to coach at his alma mater at Fresno State. This is a very important figure in Cal football. Right now, Oregon State has a first down at the 14-yard line. B.J. Baylor. And Baylor will bang it down inside the 10. And Tedford, hopefully we'd have some more time to get into this. But you talk about a guy who came in here when the program was at rock bottom. And quickly Kyle Bowler, and then a guy named Aaron Rodgers.
Heard of him.
And then followed Marshawn Lynch and Deshaun Jackson and Tyson Alulalu, etc. And that's what he did.
He's special, so revered in the coaching community as well.
Oh, a nice job there. Baylor had to hurdle Josh Drayton, but that penetration by Drayton just broke up the play. Now it's third down.
They go with a toss sweep, and the way you stop this game, you got to, or this running attack, you got to get some penetration in the backfield. Drayton does exactly that. And here we are on a third down for Jonathan Smith. They're not afraid to run it in this department. They love the guy in the backfield,
Yeah.
Trey Lowe.
This is his time, third down. Cal knows well to watch for it. Lowe picks up a blitzer. Nolan throws to the corner. Jump ball there and incomplete. Isaiah Young, sophomore corner on the cover for Cal against Bradford.
It's a nice play design, simple corner route, and as a receiver, you're taught to run away, and the throw's got to be closer to the sideline, Ted. Not the best throw. Nice play by Young. In for Colin Gamble, and impressive play in the red zone.
All right, Everett Hayes, 29 yards. One really good note for Oregon State. This is only the 7th field goal Hayes has tried this year because the Beavers have been so good in the red zone. But here it is the Cal defense forcing the kick and the first points of the game for the Beavers. Now Garbers became the all-time leading runner as a Cal quarterback. That's not something you normally talk about, but it is a measure that takes us back. We were there at Stanford Stadium 2 years ago. It's certainly the highlight play right now for Chase Garbers.
And
game-winning run.
we talked to him yesterday about this. He goes, yep, you know, the amount of people that still talk to me about that. And you called it at the end of that game. Chase Garbers and that play going to live in infamy for Cal Bears in the big game.
They also took him about 45 minutes to get off the field. Chase Garbers, Justin Wilcox, and honestly, it's the high water mark right now of the play for Chase here at Cal, for Justin Wilcox's era. I mean, there was so much hope. As Cal starts here from the 25. And Brooks trying to bounce it outside, and he'll get cut down. Nice low tackle there by Alex Austin for the Beavers secondary. But Cal won that big game. Then they finished the year by winning at UCLA, and they went to a bowl game and won that. They had 8 wins and so much optimism. And of course, COVID disrupted everything. And then what Justin Wilcox built here, Yog, 9 super seniors chose to come back this year. 9, because they believed.
So excited, and well, think of the ones that aren't playing. Coin Dang not playing. Michael Savel's mic'd up as a student assistant.
Brooks is stopped just short. Another good Oregon State tackle there, stopping him just short of the line to gain. Riley Sharp in on that hit for the Beavs. Well, it's going to be a short third.
And just to kind of finish off your point, this Cal team, these guys all came back. Josh Drayton, I mean, the amount of players that said, hey, we can go take a run here. I mean, they were the sexy pick for the Pac-12 North 2 years ago. They beat Oregon last year. This year, there's a lot of expectations. And again, when you look at their record, that is not indicative of who this team is when you look at how so many of these close games have ended.
And on the short run, that's going to be a first down gain. So Cal runs it for a first down. Well, you think, again, the optimism for the season starting, and then it was a thud. They lost to Nevada here. Good Nevada team, but still lost. And then went to TCU, scored the first touchdown, couldn't kick the extra point. Special teams failure. Chased that point the whole game. Ended up going 0 for 3 on 2-point plays and lost by 2. And that's all what's led to this fact you see here, that sadly right now defines the first half of Cal's season.
Special teams have been an element for them. They've struggled as you see this unique formation and shift.
And Brooks, that's why with Cal, this game, and we've talked so much about what it means for the Beavers, for this game for Cal, to have a positive second half of the year means a ton, because they play 3 of the last 4 on the road.
Yeah.
So if you can back up, at least start that November with back-to-back home field wins would be huge.
Be huge going on the road next week at Arizona. They'll obviously be favored in that one, I'd imagine. And you're right, just get a little mojo back. And I think for Chase Garbers in this offense, they've just in spurts been who they thought they would be this year.
Right, Damian Moore now in the game, but it's Garbers pulling it. Well, once again, it is Garbers, and it's interesting in that, look, it's not a secret. There are times where he can do more damage this with his legs.
Yeah, another design run. You could tell when the receivers are blocking downfield, and he say, hey, block a little bit more. He helps out with a little shove. And that's the right move for Bill Musgrave in this offense. And he said, look, there's times where Chase Garbers trusts his legs more than his arm. And we do as an offense as well. And early on in the game, they try to get him going in the pass game. But for Bill Musgrave, QB run game is by design, and that is a huge part of Chase Garbers, and clearly in this ball game we've seen it pay dividends on another conversion.
A 22-yard run, and now Cal at the Oregon State 35. Play action shot. Broken up on the hit by Austin. Boy, that looked like a catch coming for Clark, but a good hit by Alex Austin.
Yeah, deep play action pass. Again, turn his back to the defense, on time, on rhythm. And when you catch this one, and you get your hands on it for Clark, this is where you got to tuck away from pressure. That's the hardest part. Alex Austin plays right through the hands of Clark. And Austin made a big play against Britton Covey last week against Utah. The secondary, technically, Ted, has been playing some of their better ball on the ball. When the ball's in the air and receivers are going for it, another example right there.
And they're missing one of theirs, Alton Julian, who season-ending injury. He made one of the 4th down stops last week. Nice cutback. Moore inside the 20. So 3 different running backs. Good first down push right up the middle. An 8-yard run for Damian Moore.
Run right at you. How about the center? Nice job. And this Oregon State defensive front, Ted, they're always moving a little bit. And sometimes you can guess right. They did that, and they opened up a big hole from the offensive line.
Moore takes it in for the Cal touchdown. Well, the Bears with a big answer to the Oregon State field goal as they do a lot of running to take it in.
This offensive front's done a nice job. And not just leaning on the D-line, Ted, but putting their hands on the D-line and moving them. They're moving bodies, and before you know it, the running backs through the crease. Touchdown, Cal Bears. They won the physical battle on that drive.
So Longhetto out for the point. And how about this? California with 17 in the first half. Golden Gate. Pac-12 football presented by Taco Bell. California 17-3, and what has been, I think it's been very telling you, the Bears are running the ball right at Oregon State.
Yeah, they are utilizing the movement on the defensive line of Oregon State to Cal's advantage, right? You're using the momentum when they're moving or they're slanting. It's a very active defensive front, and Cal's putting their hands on them and washing them down, and the running backs are creasing them for nice gains.
108 rush yards for Cal in the first half. We were targeting short kickers, going to be fair caught by Oregon State. All right, the Cal offensive line working well. Let's check in with Mike Seffel, our correspondent.
Oh, here we go, O. Here we go, O. How we get that there? Ben just took it from him. That's the way to punch him in the mouth. That a boy. Way to hold up. Way to hold up. Great drive, baby. Great drive. Here we go, man. Energy. TV. Yeah, TV. Great job, baby. Hell job. Hell job. Just keep playing with energy, man. They seem dead over there. They can't hang with our energy, you know what I mean? When we play physical, play with a little attitude.
First down pass here is incomplete. Intended for Zariah Beeson. I think that's a fascinating tell because here's Cal, the team that's been, you'd think would be down because they've had so many just frustrating losses. Oregon State, the team is playing for a bunch. That's an interesting take.
Yeah. There is you could feel Cal, right? Being at practice yesterday in meetings. They know they're going up against a team that is at the top of the Pac-12 North, and they feel like they got the ability to play with them, and they have.
Nolan delivers. That's going to be right at the line to gain, and the mark, I think, is going to be a first down on a pass to Bradford. Let's see where they spot up. The spot's going to be a half a yard short.
So much when you're on the road, you got to create your own energy, right? And when it's not a crazy environment and people are screaming and yelling at you, you definitely have to. You get lulled a little bit to sleep at times, right? Early turnover. Offense didn't do much early on. Now for Oregon State, they got to see if they can replicate moving the ball again, but they got to get 7.
Nolan keep the ball right over center here. It'll be an easy first. Instead, Baylor will go outside and get it. Lou Hearns eventually knocked him out for Cal, but that'll be a first down for the Beavers. Nolan has completed 5 passes for 49 yards, the biggest being the 28-yard shot to Musgrave. Deshaun Fenwick the back. Fenwick got hit right in there quickly. It was J.H. Tevis off the D front.
And again, a goal for this defense. We said it in the first quarter. They got to find ways to get in the backfield. J.H. Tevis, you watch him just swim the offensive lineman. Perfect technique. And he's an athletic defensive lineman, right? He can play the edge. Sometimes they kick him down to be over a guard. That's what he was on that previous snap. And he's the more athletic guy on the inside in that matchup.
Fascinating story. His dad played at Stanford. As Nolan's going to keep. And Nolan gets popped shy of the line to gain. He'll get right to the 50-yard line.
A lot of quarterbacks are taught to slide. Some you say, hey, steal a pump. He does that. Nate Rachenna says, yeah, I might be young in the program, but I'm not going to jump in the air for that. And he makes the hit on him. But Chance Nolan, we've seen him for a few weeks now, Ted. He's not afraid of contact.
No, not at all. 6'3", just a little bit over 200 pounds. Third and short again. Fenwick and Coletto in the game. Coletto to take the snap here. And Coletto's going to run it. And he's going to, well, Jack is going to hammer his way for the first down to the 46 of Cal.
It's so hard to stop. It's so hard to stop. There's movement, there's motion. How about the 2 tight ends? Quatoriano blocks down, Musgrave blocks out. And that's where you miss Cam Good, right there on that play, Ted. That's where the Cal Bears miss their best defensive player.
And the Beavers offense, as here's Flemings on the end around run. And Flemings is going to run it for a first down before he's spun around by Hicks, but it'll be a first down to the 35 of Cal.
Watch Tegan Quatoriano here. This is really athletic and very impressive. He's going to start to his right. Boop, breaks on. Lead blocker out the back door.
And there's what he doesn't do. See how he backed off the block there? That's the impressive part.
He's such a smart guy. Call it functional football intelligence.
He's going to get flagged if he blocks him, so he backed off. First down. Nolan pumps. Nolan fires for Lindsey. Incomplete. In the middle was Isaiah Young for Cal.
This was an old school West Coast Jeff Tedford play. Sluggo win. You pump the slant and go. You come back to the seam. His second read. Tried to find it. And how about the play from the backup corner? Isaiah Young again, his second play of the day.
Getting a good run here in the secondary for the Bears is Isaiah Young. Comes up big. 2nd and 10 for Oregon State. Baylor alongside Nolan. Flag as Baylor gets 5, and that may be coming back.
Yeah, that's going to be a hold right in the middle of that offensive front.
2 flags. I'm not sure if they're for the same foul. That may be the conversation here.
They're offsetting fouls.
For to go down this way.
Yeah, he tries to cut off his right foot. See that right there? Turf moss are going to get you every time there.
So now the Beavers face a long third. This is what they've avoided. The Beavers have had the shortest average third down plays in the conference this year. But they need 9 3/4 here.
That's Tyjon Lindsey. They like him here.
And Trey Lowe going to leak out. Nolan tries to jam one in. Intercepted on the carom. The carom by Isaiah Young. The catch by Nate Regina, the freshman from Danville.
Isaiah Young, it's early, but he's the defensive player of the game. Another big play. Pops the ball in the air. Regina, perfect pick. We'll be right back.
This season, for every touchdown scored by a Pac-12 team, Pacific Premier Bank donates $100 to the United Negro College Fund and the National Urban League in support of social justice. 31,800. A great total that keeps jumping with every score. We've had 2 touchdowns in the first half of this game, and Cal with its second takeaway in this late afternoon in Berkeley. Cal with the ball at its own 24. And Garber's taking a shot for Crawford. And it's just knocked away. It looked like Crawford had it, but he got sandwiched. Alex Austin and Andre Hughes Murray down the field.
You're going to see pressure. Delayed blitz by Omar Spates. Gets Garbers. He falls to the ground, and he thought he had him. Crawford, watch the end of the play here. Climb the ladder. No. Doesn't high point the ball. Arnold and Austin right there, and they strip it away. And Ted, that's on Crawford in my eyes. You got to go get that ball.
Right. Yeah, correct. That was Achille Arnold, the second man, along with Alex Austin down there on the defense. So Cal taking its first real shot of the game. Now they come underneath to Remigio. Skips out of Austin's tackle and pushes close to the line to gain.
I'd work Remigio a little bit. Remember, Jaden Grant, he's out for the next 4 minutes and change due to the targeting penalty a week ago. Remigio in the slot, he's an advantage. They haven't been able to get him going throughout the season. Got a lot of catches, not a lot of yards. Third down in this situation, he's a perfect guy to get the ball to.
Christopher Brooks, the back. And Brooks is knifed. Does he get it? Don't think so. Avery Roberts. There we go. So one of the better stands for the Beavers' interior run D in this first half, and it will bring the Cal punt team out.
That's a big stop. The defensive line, you see all the movement there? Cal's doing a nice job of moving the D line. That, and I'm sure there's a coaching point telling the linebackers, hey, if our D line's getting washed, you got to get to the line of scrimmage even faster than they did on that stop.
So Bradford back to catch and then perhaps return the punt of Jamison Sheehan. Cal letting as much time elapse. Bradford lets the punt, and it will die outside the 25. So we'll come back and see if the Beavers can get a little late offense going in the first half. All right, here's our Old Trapper Majestic moment, one of several that Isaiah Young, Cal's defensive back, has had in this first half.
Yeah, he's elevated. Coming in for Colin Gamble. Another pass breakup. And how about the youngster in Regina with the pick, getting his hands underneath it. Another sudden change, turnover. 2 in the first half for the Cowbears.
So here we go with Oregon State, and we're in that zone, Yogi. We're in the middle 8. Last 4 first half, first 4 second half. both of these teams are plus this year in that stat. And this now becomes big for the Beavers because Cal gets the ball first in the third quarter.
And what did both coaches tell us when we met with the staff? They said in this game, it'll be limited possession.
Yes. Yep.
And I think outside the turnovers, that's how this thing is played out.
This is the Beavers' 6th possession. Pass to Bradford, steps out of bounds with a first. So here's this. Just looking at point differential in this middle 8. Dead last in the Pac-12. You want to explain a season? USC. They are minus 36 points in the last 4 minutes of the first half and first 4 of the second half. That is unfathomable. And kind of defense right there that you see Hearns play, that if you're successful, you do that. You'll let the underneath ball, but then tackle at the spot.
Exactly, all game. And as you see the clock continue to bleed. 90 seconds left in this first half. Timeout's not an issue for either staff. You see Brian Lindgren, the offensive coordinator,
who has been raved about by every opponent that Oregon State's played this year, has talked about what terrific schemes the Beaver offense has had. Third down here. Can they keep it going? Yes, they will. Bradford. And now the Beavers at least are in scoring territory at the Cal 32. That is certainly more than enough time here. 64 seconds and 2 timeouts.
Talk about a play from Bradford. They call that a whip route. You go out, you come in, you whip back out. Against man-to-man coverage. Expect that again here.
Taking the shot for Bradford. And Bradford holds it in. Touchdown Beavers. And the rain comes from Chance Nolan. Beautiful throw. To me, it's the most unheralded part of what the Beaver offense has done this year is that Chance Nolan's downfield throwing has been awfully good.
Every game we've had in the last 3, he makes some wow throws. You say, what? Did it again on the touchdown to Bradford.
Point through kick by Hayes. Major score for the Beavs before halftime.
Critical throw. Saw the man-to-man coverage. A little soft. Bradford, he ran right by him. And if you're even with the DB, the wideouts say, hey, I'm leaving. Touches a little bit of the clouds here in Berkeley. Nolan steps into it with confidence. And that's just perfect. Beats the single high safety with the throw. Hicks can't get over there in time. And Bradford just ran right by Young for a touchdown. And Ted, it was great design. He had Musgrave down the middle. Said, man to man, I'm going to beat the safety. Look at that. Think they woke up a little bit. They know what's at stake here.
Second receiving touchdown of the year for Bradford. And think about Oregon State and Brian Lindgren mixing it up. Because of what we said, you pointed out what the Cal defense is doing. That was a 7-play drive, 1 run. 1 run.
Yep. And if you want to be a champion, that's what you got to be able to do.
And her team is right here for halftime. Ashley?
Yeah, guys, coming up in the Carvana halftime report, we got some other Pac-12 action. Oregon Ducks rolling at home, plus the Cougs go into Tempe and spoil ASU's homecoming. We'll have those highlights. Plus, Ryan Leaf, Nigel Burton, they are out of their Halloween costumes and they are back as themselves and they are ready to talk about what we've seen in the first half, guys.
There you go. And yeah, we have so many 6 games today and tonight. I know it may not be well known, but USC is actually playing right now. Yeah. And so Ashley and team will have that update for you at halftime. USC in Arizona. There we go from the 25 now for Cal. How do they play this? And they are going to apparently play it safely, knowing that they get the ball to start the second half.
And I think if you're Cal, like granted, momentum swing there, but reality is still you're up 17-0. Your offense has moved the ball pretty much at will in the first half by running the football. Oregon State has not stopped the QB run game, right? So they're going to have to see if they can make adjustments for the second week in a row against an athletic quarterback.
Ooh, and Brooks, that was a very important tackle by Achille Arnold. Not sure who else was in the way if Brooks gets past this guy.
Yeah, this had a chance to be a home run.
So it's 3rd down and 1. And Cal just took a timeout. All right, so this is an interesting time for your Nextiva team. Talk when you need to talk with your team. Always use Nextiva. What's Justin going to use, or Bill Musgrave going to do here with 10 seconds to play? In the half.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know either.
I think you're saying, hey, just don't turn it over. See if you can bust another one. And if for Oregon State, you're saying just make sure you're aligned. Let's not possibly give up an explosive.
You have Cal has time. I mean, I don't know if you have one of those hook and ladder type of plays where you think I might get 30 or 40 yards and give myself a shot at a field goal.
Yeah, I mean, to me, with 11 ticks left, a play like that would probably take a little bit of time, but I'd run something to give yourself a shot here of maybe an explosive touchdown play.
They need 40 yards, 35 yards, let's say, to give themselves even a realistic chance at a field goal.
And it looks like they're not just going to run it out, right? You look at Bill Musgrave, their offensive coordinator, not just saying, hey, let's just kneel it and get out. 4 wides.
Yep, 4 wides. Hunter coming all the way down to the bottom. Clark furthest up to the top. Brooks goes out. All right, they're going to throw a screen, have blockers out there. So Clark got a 1st down. The other hope would have been to get at the ball perhaps to midfield to try for the Hail Mary, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to do it from your own 40. Aaron Rodgers could do it, but I'm not sure what other.
Kyle Bowler could have done it. Right?
Kyle Bowler could have done it.
You'll anticipate a little double move here by the receivers and take a shot. Surprised only a single high safety, though, for Oregon State. Oh, my God.
Look at Hunter is behind everybody. Can he get down in time? No. Oh, man. Jeremiah Hunter. And I would have to see it again to see if he had caught it and stepped out of bounds right away. Was there a tick left?
Well, I saw Chase Garbers give him a little hand signal, and it looked like it was a double move signal. He did exactly that, a stop and go, and it was just a single high safety. 4 verts. And we're going to run into halftime, but
man, that's
it makes you wonder what was the clock management like in the final minute? Like they weren't utilizing timeouts until 10 seconds left.
All right, let's go down to hear from Coach Smith. Ashley?
All right, Coach, a good momentum swing there to get the touchdown right before the half. What did you see from your offense in the first?
Well, slow start, for sure. I mean, we got to be able to execute at a higher level, put the ball on the ground on the first play of the game. That was a huge play. To end the half like that would get a little bit of momentum.
You get Jaden Grant back in the second half. Defensively, what do you want to see from your team?
Yeah, we got to be able to get some stops. I put in a couple long drives together. We got to get it off the field in 3rd down.
Thanks for the time. Good luck. All right, so the Bees with a little bit of work to do here on the road in Berkeley, California, down 7 to the California Golden Bears. We'll be back with the Carvana halftime report. Ryan Leaf, Nigel Burton join me on the other side of the break. All right, a fan favorite here in Berkeley, honored earlier in the first quarter, the all-time winningest coach in the history of Cal football, back on campus, Jeff Tedford. Hats off to him.
Yeah, I have no idea how Marine's going to pull that costume off, though. Good luck.
Enjoy the
We're going to play single high safety. We're going to make you throw the football. And I wouldn't change if I was the Cal Bears, 1 iota.
They will get the ball first here, but what Cal did is exactly what everybody's going to have to try or want to do to Oregon State. They took them out of their rhythm. Oregon State, as we see the kick here by Hayes, a run-dominant team, had to be more balanced in their play calling in the first half because of what you see here in the Applebee's first half stats. Look at that rush total.
Yeah, I mean, that is not what Oregon State is known for. That's not their identity. They have not won at the line of scrimmage against a Cal front 7 that's missing 2 starters that they had a week ago, let alone all the ones that are out this season. And I bet that offensive front was challenged by Jonathan Smith and Brian Lindgren as saying, hey, we're going to find out what we're about. If we want to get bowl eligible, if we want to continue to compete in the Pac-12 North and keep pace with the Ducks, we got to run the rock.
Meanwhile, it was Cal over 100 rush yards in the first half. Damian Moore gets the first carry here. And flying in, you saw Rajon Wright. We should also mention that as we start this second half with the Beavers on defense, Jaden Grant on the field.
Yeah, a huge lift and fresh, right? Dramatically fresh. He's a big communicator for this defense as you see Cal 5 wide.
Grant, the deep safety, back at the 40-yard line. Garbers avoids pressure and then dumps an incompletion at the feet of Damian Moore.
And that's interesting, right? They give a little run fake and then a little pop pass. Jaden Grant standing right in front of it, saying, hey, I'm ready for this. And if I'm Cal, Ted, it's a third down here, but on first and second downs, it's RPO central to me. And try to suck up these linebackers and see if you can get behind them in front of the safeties as this game goes on.
Another tight end. They've started to mix him. It's Kaleki Latu for Cal. He is on the field for this third down. They need 9. And Garbers with a lot of time, and what a throw to Clark. First down, just shy of midfield.
This is awesome from Chase Garbers. This is awesome from Chase Garbers. Omar Speights, you'll see him to the left. He looped all the way around. Chase Garbers saw him from the beginning and just said, okay, I feel you, but I'm going to throw on time, anticipate Clark. Perfect execution.
Cal hustling again to the line to try to eliminate defensive substitutions. Down in the flat for a loss there to Moore. And we should mention that, Yogi, that for people understanding, what are you talking about? Well, if the offense subs, then the referee stands, or a referee stands over the ball to give the defense time. Crawford on the catch, and he's going to get it to the 50 and just across. And that's Jaden Grant getting involved. First big play of the second half.
And this is interesting here, Ted. It's third down, but in my eyes, this is 4-down territory for the Cal Bears. So they're saying, hey, we don't have to get to the sticks. We can just get half here. It might be a quarterback draw. And see what he's doing at the line of scrimmage? The linebackers, Speights and Roberts, they're right over the center. Now they're changing their call, moving the front. 3 defensive linemen, now 1 deep safety. This is awesome.
Yeah, Garbers going empty, play clock running. Only 3 rush. And the throw to Clark. And you saw in that defense, clearly the spy, Andre Hughes-Murray spying Garbers to not let him run it, but Garbers finds Clark.
That's a nice job. Spy right there. There's 2. Saying you're not going to beat me with your legs. You've seen that one too many times on third down. Chase said no problem. So both of these teams are saying, we're not going to let you run it, make your quarterback beat us through the air.
Well, Garbers had Crawford, didn't throw it. Well, I'm not sure if Garbers thought he had Crawford. It looked like he had him from up here.
Yeah, Jaden Grant was trying to bait that throw in, see if he can dive underneath it. And that's where the experience of Chase Garbers comes in. You don't see him necessarily pick defenses apart, but you don't see him make a lot of mistakes either. Throw into traffic. He's played a lot of ball, been in a lot of big games. This one, again, as the game goes on, will continue to come down to his decision making.
And clean game so far.
Yeah.
2 quarters plus for the Bears. 2 Cal takeaways that have been big. And there's Brooks, got behind. Touchdown Cal. 38 yards.
This is really impressive. Look at the motion from Colin Moore. That's obviously the running back in Brooks, and just gets lost. He gets picked right there. It looked as though Avery Roberts had him man-to-man, Ted. And he didn't come over the top. It seemed to me like he was saying, hey, I'm passing it off to his fellow linebacker. There was no pass off. There was just run by and a touchdown.
First possessions, we talked about at the beginning. Cal's been excellent first possession of the game, and now first possession of the second half. A 14-point lead back for the Bears.
Motion, trickeration, and this one's pretty clean for Chase Garbers. Throw it to the wide open running back, Christopher Brooks. And Chase Garbers, yeah, he's jacked up here at the stadium. Welcome back, and let's take a look at this. That is Avery Roberts, that's Samisi Saluni, the linebackers. You'll see Roberts, as Brooks runs the wheel route, freeze it. He's supposed to pass it off. Saluni does not run with Brooks. And we've got a touchdown for the Cal Bears. That's a miscommunication error for Oregon State.
And frustrating, Avery Roberts, of course, very experienced. Saluni, a freshman.
Yeah.
Local product of Concord, far from Berkeley. But Cal with a big score to get back up by 14. As after the touchback, before play, we'll go check in with Guy Haberman. All right, Guy, Penn State trying to win in less than 9 overtimes, too, I'm assuming.
Yeah. For everybody's sake.
Yeah, meanwhile, Oregon State now, really with its back, having surrendered that first possession touchdown. Nolan looking for Harrison in that one. Elijah Hicks, just like you said about Jaden Grant a minute ago, Elijah Hicks saw that all the way.
Yeah, this one was easy for him. He watches the over route. You see him as that number 3 right in the middle of your screen. See him, times it up beautifully. And Elijah Hicks, remember, a couple years ago when he came in here, he was starting to corner. After 2019 in their bowl games, he says, hey, let's shift to safety. He does that, gets limited action, of course, last year in the shortened season. In the last couple games, he's played the best football of his career at that position.
B.J. Baylor in the game. Very modest first half numbers. Won't add much to it. That's his 11th carry of the game. It'll be for 26 yards. And what Cal has done is disrupt Oregon State. Oregon State's play selection coming into this game, 63% run. Right now, they are 20 run, 17 pass, almost 50-50.
And you know, what Cal has done, and Peter Sermon, their defensive coordinator, is they've changed their front. You see him now, 4, 5 defensive linemen on that front. We've seen 3, we've seen 4. Here's 5 right now.
Nolan has time, takes another shot. And Bradford broken up. And once again, Isaiah Young. You talk about a guy earning his run. Isaiah Young is doing that for Cal.
What's exactly what you got to do if you're Oregon State. All right, Cal wants to play 8 in the box. They want to bring a little pressure. They're daring you. They're telling you, hey, throw it against man-to-man coverage and single high defense. And that's a big win right there. Another win from Isaiah Young. Easily the best game of his career.
That is 4 passes broken up by Young. Losher's punt. And he with a fair catch just across the 30-yard line. And Cal, boy, the Bears sideline feeling good. They'll have the ball with a 2-touchdown lead in the 3rd. Last week at Reser Stadium in Corvallis, just a very classy move by Oregon State football, placing flowers on the 22-yard line prior to the pregame warm-ups as they hosted Utah. This week, each Pac-12 stadium, 6 of them being hosting games on this day and night, marking the 22-yard lines. The same thing to honor those Utah football players, including, of course, we'll be at Rice-Eccles tonight when the Utes host UCLA.
Very classy move last week from Jonathan Smith and from every team around the league.
That ends up being a flip forward pass to Remigio for 4 yards. And of course, at Utah tonight, everything's very secondary to that story, but it may be a Garbers family party tonight. Ethan Garbers may, we still don't know officially, but may get the start at quarterback for UCLA.
Can you imagine that family? And if that does happen, this will be a day that goes down in history. We talked to Chase about the game last weekend. He goes, yeah, we got in after our win. We all watched it as a team in the locker room the last drive when his younger brother Ethan was playing for the Bruins.
Ken Garbers off play action, looking at Hunter trying to run deep, but chose to not throw it. And Garbers runs it out to the 30, well, to be the 39, short 3rd down. I don't even I can't identify those costumes.
No, but Ethan Garbers picked the right colors, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. He had a head start.
Chase, you can't be rocking red anymore, so I highly doubt in this stadium or in this Halloween he'll have any sort of red on.
Now look at Cal's 3rd down production tonight. Can they keep it going here? Needing 2. Marcel Dancy's been in as the running back on this series. That's going out for Clark. And it is caught by Clark for a first down. And again, Garber's showing adeptness, being able to square his shoulders, rolling left.
And this is great because Clark, he lines up tight to the formation. So kind of gets lost on that play action. And that's the only place. Jaden Grant plays that perfectly. Great ball placement. Chase Garber is playing a complete game thus far.
This has to start getting close to urgency for Oregon State. They need to stop. And Dancy getting into the game, gets a catch and a first down. Fourth different running back for Cal.
Okay, I know Chase Garber's made some nice throws in this game, Ted. None better than this. Watch. Watch him go through his progression. 1, 2, nothing. 3, nothing. Climb the pocket, not freak out, and then the throw to his check down. This is a guy who normally would try to escape, but he understands the defense. That's a guy with experience. He's playing calm and level-headed as they get into the I formation.
Monroe Young, the wide receiver, top for Cal. And out of the I with Gavin Reinwald leading the way to block. But Omar Spates busts through that wall, brings down Brooks. And, well, I'm thinking back to your call that last play, Yogi, and that's phenomenal because, again, that's the opposite of what you're talking about. A quarterback that trusts his legs more than his arm. There, he trusted his arm.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing his confidence continue to grow in the passing game tonight, right? Look, watch the defensive line, right? They've been moving pretty much every snap. The looks are changing. He's really patient at the line of scrimmage.
There's Spates again flying in. Hadn't really talked very much at all about Omar Spates until this series. Next couple of plays here to leave Cal with a long third.
Yeah, well, these linebackers, to me, the adjustment we've seen in this third quarter is them seeing run a little faster and getting to the line of scrimmage a little faster. So what does that open up for Bill Musgrave and Cal? Well, see if you can force Omar Spates and Avery Roberts to come up a little bit and get behind him a little bit. You've seen Chase Garber's work in between the hashes, the over route to Trayvon Clark, and other receivers.
So third down, Tonjes was by himself. They go up top, the deep shot, and broken up. Coverage by Ron Harge as Remigio, the receiver for Cal.
Chase Garber's, he sees the middle a little muddied, sees man coverage on the outside, says, all right, a lot of twisting and moving up front. I'm just going right outside, man-to-man coverage, throw it up to Remigio, and that to me is a well-thrown ball. See the end of the route? Remigio fades, and he ends up trying to catch it over his inside shoulder, and Harge knocks it out. You got to stay on that line and catch it over your outside shoulder away from the defender. Chance for a touchdown by Cal, they missed.
48 for Longhetto. Kick is no good. So that is a very big stop for the Beaver defense. Cal's lead. It's dusk in the Bay Area. Lead stays at 14.
I just have a feeling, Ted, right now with about 6 minutes left in the third, this game's going to come down to these two quarterbacks making the right decisions in a critical moment.
Deep shot again. Flemings is out there. And Flemings with a catch. Stumbled, but still caught the ball at the Cal 30. A 40-yard shot. And this Oregon State has not backed off this. Yogi challenging with the deep ball.
It's a really nice scheme. It's a post corner by Bradford, and that's what pulls up Hearns at corner and allows Flemings to be wide open on the over route in front of Hicks.
Longest play of the night for Oregon State. Baylor single back.
There's the audible in the run game.
And can Baylor, who has had 4 straight 100-yard games, trying to do something that hasn't been done 5 in a row since Steven Jackson at Oregon State. Nowhere near it right now. Cal has stuffed him.
And I'll tell you, though, for the Beavs, they just believe in getting a dirty 3, dirty 4. I don't think they'll change, Ted. The challenge will be, can Cal hold up as the game goes on and not allow Baylor to break them?
I think as any is red zone touchdowns. Don't tell me scoring. Tell me touchdowns. Oregon State has been excellent at that this year. Here they are.
And a lot of them have been where runs have just busted through. And the back's been able to finish.
Fenwick. And again, a hard three. This is what the Beavs have done. You see how it ranks in the conference right at the top. And you win games with touchdowns. I mean, field goals don't often. They can once in a while, but field goals don't often win you games.
Yeah, I mean, every single head coach in the history of post-game interviews goes to the red zone. Yeah, we just couldn't finish it off, and you lose by 3 or 4 or 6.
That's Anthony Gould motioning. And Trey Lowe gets the carry, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Beavers.
Ted, this is the first time all game the stretch run game has worked, meaning the offensive line is going to run all the way to their left, try to stretch the D-line, and it's on the running back to cut off the backside of the O-line. He cuts off the backside of Nathan Eldridge, the center, for a big game.
And there he used last week Anthony Gould on that kind of play, took ahead and ran for a touchdown. Yep. They used him as a deep there. And that may have helped Trey Lowe into the middle. 1st and goal. And Fenwick is in for the Oregon State score. As they did at the end of the first half, the Beavers scored near the end of the 3rd quarter to give themselves life.
.33, take 3 yards in the run game. It might not look pretty, but we'll take it. And then another 3, and then another 3, and then we'll bust one for 11, and then another one for a touchdown.
At the end of the 2nd quarter, they had a 7-play scoring drive with 1 run. That was a 7-play scoring drive with 6 runs.
That is called identity right there for Oregon State. And those are the men who are the identity of this team, the offensive line. They finish it off. Fenwick following Brewer, Eldridge, and his O-line. And we got a 1-score game.
For a long time, century or so, California football played right here on the campus in Strawberry Canyon. At dusk on this final October Saturday. Just a terrific setting, and wonderful that we had at least half of the game was Pac-12 in the daytime, and now we get Pac-12 at dusk.
Beautiful.
Just like we had at Corvallis last week. Yeah. All right, Everett Hayes' kick will be a touchback, so let's see how Cal responds. And now shapes up to be a pretty significant possession, given Oregon State's offensive score.
Yeah, and I think for Cal, I mean, even if you don't come away with points, you can't go 3 and out here, right? Your defense just got leaned on. It feels from up here, Ted, it was the first real momentum swing back to Oregon State. So for Justin Wilcox, he knows that. He knows the identity of the Beavs on offense. So you want to eat up some clock here, get your offense moving with Chase Garbers.
And on the 1st down carry, that is Damian Moore. See 61 there, Valentino Daltoso. Talk about veteran lineman. This is his 41st start today at Cal. He has started at 4 different offensive line positions in his career. I don't know that I've ever seen someone that way. In college, to start games at 4 different offensive line spots.
Yeah, I think him and Nick Ford at Utah.
Yeah, good call. I mean, center being the only one he's missed.
Yeah.
That's a somewhat of a specialized position. And that's wonderful versatility. When you hear the word specialization come around, he's a young guy that's been able to jump in where he's been needed.
Yeah, and think of the job that Angus McClure has done with his O-line too since coming onto this staff. He's a former D-line coach. Remember, he's at UCLA, he's at Nevada, now he's here, cross-training a lot of his guys at different positions.
So on 3rd down, It will be Garbers to throw. Quick out, tapped up and broken up. That was Oladapo. Heaton Oladapo, who had a huge hit on Garbers on his touchdown run early in the game, smothers this pass.
Yeah, this is straight blue. There was nothing doing. And when you're a wideout, you got to thread the inside of the DB. Oladapo was never threatened, was all over it, and Cal's lucky that isn't going the other way.
It was Colin Moore intended. Sheehan to punt. And Bradford. Let that hit. I was looking at Luke Musgrave.
Yeah.
I've been watching Musgrave on these punts here after his just exceptional punt block and score last week. Well, we are the chewing gum on the bottom of Oregon State's shoes. They can't scrape us off, can they, Yo?
We've been following them. And you know what? You go back to year one with Jonathan Smith and some of those tragic losses that they had, right? They're getting rolled. We've been there and watching the build, and now this year we'll have them 4 weeks in a row, and seeing a team that might be at the top of the North, they can come back here.
And for all you Bears fans, Cal will be in Arizona. Early kick next week. It's homecoming in Tucson. That's the early kickoff there. That'll be our first game on Pac-12 Network, and then we'll have Oregon State, Colorado for you in a dusk/evening special from Boulder. Pasta J, we're coming again. Bradford with the catch, 35-yard line, first down for Oregon State.
This is a nice job. Now, this is an RPO. Suck up the linebackers, get it behind the linebackers in front of the safety to Bradford. And that's when you know the run game is a major focus of the front seven of the Cal Bears.
Deshaun Fenwick, the deep back. Coletto, fullback in the eye. So Yogi, I'm just going to say, it's late in the third now, but after what we heard Mike Safel say when he was mic'd up in the first half, that Oregon State didn't look like they have energy. Do they look like they have more now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and again, on the road, you got to create your own energy sometimes, especially if the environment isn't dramatically
Absolutely
electric. And they start out slow, second week in a row. Clearly not good enough, but again, they didn't have to abandon their identity. They've stuck to it, and now they're within a score with the ball.
Trey Lowe, the back on second down, stays at he whipped on a block, and Nolan's throw. Boy, that was a break there because Josh Trey Lowe tried to block him and missed.
Yeah, he was all
So block and miss
in the backfield.
Ooh. Nolan fired it away.
Yeah. They liked how Lowe pass protected a week ago. They kept him in on some. He's probably been 50-50 tonight, Tiff.
Well, now the Bear fans, Bear students rising up. They understand here. Third down, trying to see if the Bear defense can get a 3 and out. Low throw can't be held by Bradford. Actually, it was one first down there, but it'll be a quick change of possession. And Oregon State will punt.
And this is Chance Nolan, too.
Yep.
That's on him. You got to hit the front number on that. He's good enough to do it. He's done it in the past. And that's an easy first down and possibly some more on the crossing route. And again, crossing routes, they're built to get the ball in space when your wideout's on the move. See if they can create explosive play. Kick the ball back to Cal, trading possessions here.
Blocked. Cal blocks the punt. And it will go out of bounds, but give Cal the ball inside the Oregon State 40. 4 men busted in. And for a for a much-needed occasion, Cal can celebrate special teams.
And it's Mr. Everything, Nick Alton. You'll see him 88. Look at that left hand. It might even caroo him off his face mask. Watch the penetration. He gets skinny, gets up. Yep, it hits him right in the elbow.
I'll tell you, you can't punt a ball that low. My gosh, look at the trajectory of that punt. I'm not sure. I'm going to look at Sam Polis, my expert here. I'm not sure how much of that's the block and how much of that's on the punter. That's a very low punt. But it is a terrific play for Cal, and it gives the Bears a chance big time. Garbers taking a shot, has his man, Clark, touchdown Cal. What Coleno did for the Beavers last week just got done to them. Block punt, next play 6. Think special teams impacts games?
Amen to that, brother.
Man. And I say Cal's been on the short end a little too often. This time they get the special teams play. And Longano adds the point to end the third quarter. A major swing for the Bears.
Thought things were slow, trading possessions. No, special teams. Nick Alston with the block. Cal immediately comes back. A little trickeration. Chase Garbers finds his wide out, lined up at tight end. Trayvon Clark, touchdown Bears.
A wonderful look at the families of our crew members. We have such great crew who travels with us throughout our Pac-12 football season. All in the spirit of the weekend. The only people we're missing there were Zane and Mackay, who are going to be what? Do we know?
That was the last picture.
That was Zane and Mackay?
Yeah, we were Coco, the movie.
Oh, I didn't miss.
Yeah, dressed all up. Let's go.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I did exactly. That's how I have to give Amy all the credit for that. She fooled me.
she'll love that. That'll be the compliment of the day.
Fair catch on the kickoff there for Oregon State. Well, they have shown the ability to bounce back, haven't they? The Beavs quite a bit this year. That's a real shot, though, to have the block punt in one play result. They've had 2 turnovers, in essence, that have turned into 14 points against them quickly. First play of the game, strip fumble, and now a block punt.
Yeah, these are things that they have not done this season in a compounding fashion. It was interesting, Jonathan Smith started the week off when he introduced Cal to his team, and he showed him clips at the end of all their tight losses. Saying, this is not a team with only 2 wins. This is a team that's going to come in and expect to win against us.
Nolan giving it to Fenwick. Fenwick with a big run out to the 40-yard line. We still have a full quarter to play here, so Oregon State does not, really should not really need to panic.
No. The way this game is going, look, it's limited possessions. We've seen that as the game has gone on, just in style of play. But Oregon State, by no means do they need to say, let's go 4 wide and try to deal our way down the field like they did at the end of the Washington State game. This is lean in our identity, see if we can bust a couple.
Gould, the wide receiver, motioning. Fenwick running it, and Fenwick banging it out. Gets another 5 on first down. So right now, Fenwick doing a little bit more of what Baylor has done, but not tonight.
Yeah. Well, they feel good about both of their backs. And Cal's done a nice job too, against this run scheme throughout the majority of this game. The earlier drive in the third quarter, Oregon State scored on. That was win for Oregon State. But they haven't had many where you've said, yeah, Oregon State's really owning the line of scrimmage.
Now Baylor, first real space he had to run tonight, and a very important Cal tackle there by Daniel Scott.
And this is what they do, right? They've leaned on him. Croteau gets blocked, and it's almost out the gate if not for Scott.
That gets Baylor his best run of the night easily to the 44 of Cal. Beavers staying with the 2 tight end set. And Nolan taking another shot down the field for Lindsey through his hands at the 10. And a flag comes in. A lot of jostling between Lindsey and Josh Drayden. And they're going to call Drayden. No, they're going to call Lindsey. Signal there is offensive pass interference.
Yeah. It was man-to-man coverage. Easy read, right throw, and a lot of contact.
Pass interference, offense, number 0. 15-yard penalty, replay, first down.
All right, so I'm sorry, they called it not against Lindsey, but against Trayshawn Harrison running down the sideline. Harrison was walking to the sideline with his palms like, what did I do?
Yeah.
We don't know, but it was 15 yards. And you're going to get a few yards back, but not much on that throw to Tegan Cotoriano. That LPI penalty is significant. Could there have been some sort of a pick down the field?
It had to have been a pick early on the play. Because you're allowed to kind of have hand-to-hand combat until the ball's in the air.
Flag did not come out until after the play was finished. That's why we assumed it was going to be on the Lindsay versus Drayden battle. So right now, 2nd and 19. And Nolan trying to get some of the yards back here on a screen to Lowe, and Lowe does a good job to break tackles, and he is very close. He's going to be marked down just short, but the Beavers will have 3rd and only 1. And Cal knows this is part of the play, that when Lowe's on the field, this screen.
Oh, this was great. And they were working on it all week, saying, hey, we got to stop the slip screen. That's a nice job with the O-line. And really, this is Trey Lowe. This is what suits him so well. We've seen him do it in the Washington State game, last week against Utah, and another play to give them 3rd and short.
So 3rd down and a yard. Fenwick the back. Coletto takes the snap. Coletto going to get outside. Coletto breaks the hit, but a flag comes in, and Coletto's still going. But there is a flag thrown from the backfield, and that can't be good for Oregon State.
Yeah.
Offense, number 88, 10-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
When do you see this?
And now it's Luke Musgrave in disbelief.
Well, Coletto looks like he's going to go in between the tackle and the guard. You'll see him as he gets going. He's going to go to this area initially. And then he pauses, and he goes outside of Coletto, or excuse me, outside of Musgrave. And that's when Luke Musgrave has to feel the defender, which is Marquez Bimage, run into the outside and just let him go. But I guarantee the way that play is drawn up is not for Jack Coletto to bounce it, and that's what he did.
And now it is 3rd down and 12. Nolan has a wide open man. Bradford to the end zone. Touchdown Beavers. That could be a lifesaver. 3rd and 12. Thought Nolan was going to run because he had a lot of space, Yod, but here he finds Bradford.
Okay, so that's Bradford, but I want you to watch Luke Musgrave on this play because there's going to be a big collision as Bradford gets into the middle. Watch the collision. 1, 2.
Oh, wow.
And that's the play. Now, that could be called offensive PI. Do they say, hey, it's just incidental contact? The 2 guys get taken out by the Cal Bears. Touchdown for the Beavers.
That is, I'll tell you what, that's great stuff. You can pull that off. Now, here's Oregon State lining up, and no idea why, but they're lining up to go for 2. Lowe is the running back behind Nolan. Bootleg looking for Bradford in the back. Nolan's going to run it himself and get in. Well, again, I can't begin to offer an explanation. Can you? But it worked.
Well, sometimes when you throw your hands up and it works, you say a nice job, and that's where it nets out for Oregon State. What an interesting series of plays. We get an OPI, we get a no call, we get a touchdown to Bradford, and a 2-point play. Well, Ted, it's Halloween. That's the only explanation we got. It's crazy in Berkeley as that Chance Nolan converts the 2-point play. Come on back, because I think it's going to be pretty fun.
The College Football Playoff Foundation celebrates teachers across the country through the Extra Yard for Teachers initiative. The Pac-12 is proud to partner with the College Football Playoff Foundation, recognizing teachers. Visit the website at cfpfoundation.org. You can also follow on social. Everett Middle School receives a check to be used on school supplies. The Cal women's gymnastics team and Cal's Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging met with Ms. Jackson and her class, shared their individual stories of what Black History Month meant to them. Ms. Jackson is a 2012 Cal alum, and the entire staff at Everett Middle School has worked to create an open learning environment for their students. Congratulations to all. All right, this is going to be, I think, a teaching moment for us all week long here on this play, Yogi. Watch the bowling ball.
Yeah, that's Luke Musgrave. You see the Cal defenders here as Bradford begins to run the route. Bradford going to run the post route. 1 collision, 2 collisions. Ball is out after there's a little contact. But to me, Luke Musgrave ran right through those guys. And we've seen OPI called in the past. We saw it on that drive.
Well, the very popular run play called power requires a guard that can pull, and what they like to say in the eval term, try to go to football here, this is scary, as Brooks is bottled up for a short run. They look for that guard who's a road grader.
Yeah.
They like a road grader. Luke Musgrave is now a road grader.
Well, the thing that is interesting is if you compress that play and put that in the red zone, which we see all the time, that's called as a pick play, right? Even if the contact is nowhere near what we just saw, down the field, to me, to me, it was a missed call.
So Cal, and obviously what Cal's hope here is to do again to Oregon State, give them a dose of their own. Run the ball right at them, chew clock, and then eventually score would be the ultimate prize.
And that's the thing for Cal. You've got to showcase, you referenced earlier, all the vets that came back to this team. A lot of them aren't playing, but they've been around this team, right? They've been in meetings, some have practiced, some played in a few games. The spirit of this team is not a young one. They need to handle this moment.
Chase Garbers, can he get it with his legs? He's going to. Saw it use the whole width of the field very well and gets a first down.
This is where he just breaks your heart, right? He's going through his progressions. He's not trying to get out early. Knows where the sticks are, and he's just got a great feel. And he's shown it all night long, right? Great feel for when to throw it, great feel for when to tuck it and run it. Understands situational football as well as anybody on this Cal roster.
Quick hit from the 38. That's caught across midfield and into the Beavers' 45-yard line goes Monroe Young. It's only his second catch of the year.
I love how the ball just gets.
Take that ball and immediately to the Oregon State side of the field, now to the Beavers' 40.
Well, I'll tell you what we're seeing. Got an injured bear down on the field. Will Craig, that's their left tackle.
Left tackle. You hear something else, Yogi? We have 9:14 to go in the game. Number of turnovers by Cal equals number of penalties on Cal tonight. 0. When was the last time you saw a clean game from a team like that? No turnovers, no penalties?
At this stage of the game, I don't recall one. But
there you go.
Somebody
Sam
might.
Brolis is on it without the penalties. No penalties and no turnovers, and that's unbelievable.
Every week we look at it, right? If you win turnover battle, you win the explosive battle, you're undefeated. Pac-12 teams are 17-0 coming into today when you win those two.
And we have a fabulous crew with us, and we have the professors Jerry and Russ downstairs that are also in our truck here on site. We are on site, that are also on top of this. Do a great job. So here's Cal now at 9:14, 2nd and 5. Running again with Brooks. We've heard the word ball security an awful lot in all of our conversations as we've traveled around the conference this year. And you saw how Brooks wrapped that ball when he first got it. Not a problem for Justin Wilcox, is it?
No, that's who this team is. And I like how they run to the right. They lose Will Craig. In comes Braden Rome, and they say, you know what? Let's not run to the guy who just came into the game side. And I think right now what we're seeing from Bill Musgrave in the offense, they're running plays they are dramatically confident in.
Look at that original formation. Shift out of it. And there you go. Christopher Brooks pushing Chase Garbers. And I gave Bill Musgrave an amazing amount of credit yesterday because against Oregon, Cal ran a quarterback sneak where they had Crawford, the wide receiver, motioning, and he just ran right up the rear end of Garbers and pushed him.
Yeah.
Illegal. as long as you're going to let rugby be played in football, then do it. And this is what Cal just did there.
Yeah, you teach the backs when it gets so close, you can almost smell the quarterback on the QB sneak. They get right behind him and just push him right in. And remember, that's a rule. You can push, you can't pull.
So Cal at the Oregon State 34, moving the ball, chewing clock, and now approaching scoring position. And Brooks is going down inside. Well, not yet. He's all the way down to the 20. And the Bears are very much now in scoring position. We get flag at the end of the play.
Well, watch Ron Hard. He's right there. And nope, you're not just going to get a shoulder tackle on Christopher Brooks. He runs right through it. And when he's healthy, he's one of the best big backs in this league.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 1 is first of the half. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first
And
down.
that happened well away from the play. Rajon Wright, corner for Oregon State, called for that. And now the Bears are at the 10. And if this, I mean, any points here are going to be extremely damaging to Oregon State. Touchdown is really bad.
Yeah, this is critical. And I think for Cal, they've had such a diverse call sheet down inside the 10-yard line, inside the red zone.
And as we praised Oregon State's red zone prowess this year, this has not been a strength for Cal. If they can make it a strength here, it's going to go a long way towards securing a win. And let's see what we had here. Did we have a timeout? Yep.
Good timeout. They didn't line up in the right formation.
All right, Bears take a timeout. We'll step away here mid-4th in Berkeley. Pac-12 football presented by Taco Bell, and California trying to make it 2 in a row at home and put what they hope is a positive turn into what was an awfully rough first half of the year. For Justin Wilcox, that first half of the year included his own injury, for which he's rehabbing, as he told us, vigorously and successfully. He's moving around okay.
Said he's a week and a half ahead of schedule.
Yeah. Well, this scoreboard right now numbs everything else, doesn't it? On the Justin Wilcox side. Cal trying to finish this drive. On first down. It is first and goal, and that's Brooks for a short gain. Right here, sensible use of the clock means if you run the ball 3 times, you take 2 minutes off, and at the very least give yourself a good shot at 3 points.
And the thing for the linebackers and the edge players of Oregon State is you got to be disciplined with Chase Garbers.
Trayvon Clark comes to the bottom, so does Nico Remigio. Brooks alongside. Garbers running. Garbers near, but not in. Going to be stopped, it looks like the 2-yard line.
Well, he's got such command at the line of scrimmage. Changing the plays, Remigio's in motion. You want to get it to him immediately. Spates is all over it. And then Garber says, all right, I'm going to see if I can go do it. And he is met.
Alex Austin stopped him. That was the touchdown saving stop there. So it'll be 3rd and goal. See the bodies shifting in on the deep front for Oregon State. Brooks, the running back. Cluster of tight ends in on the left side of the line for Cal. Garber's looking that way. Great illusion. And then throws for the touchdown. What a move by Garbers to eventually find Brooks. Elusiveness for Garbers.
This is awesome. He's got him immediately. But all of a sudden, space in the backfield. He avoids him for the 2nd time tonight. Eyes again downfield into the end zone. Brooks was wide open. He put enough air under the ball for Brooks to secure the catch. What a conversion on 3rd and goal.
I gotta say, Yogi, this is the Chase Garbers that we saw in that game we touched on, the big game at Stanford 2 years ago. The Garbers that helped create so much optimism around Cal football.
Yeah, coming into 2020, this year the expectations have been high, and he's meeting them today.
So Cal going for 2, trying to match the Beavers who just did it. And this time they won't get it. Garber's touchdowns that Oregon State will need. So Brooks back again. Only wideout's Remigio. And Brooks is going to run it. He's in easy. So that penalty on Oregon State's defense cost him 2 points. Again, Beavers still need 2 touchdowns, but now it's an even 14 for Cal.
It's offensive front of the Cal Bears moving the line of scrimmage, and they get 2.
Yeah, who's been the running team tonight? 181 for Cal on the ground. Didn't think we'd be saying that.
I would not even close if you said who's going to have more yards on the ground between these two teams, as well as Cal's defense. 2 of their best players in the front 7, and I'd argue the best player on their team, Cam Good, hasn't played.
Now, certainly some of the points, 14 of them for Cal, have come off sudden changes, short fields. But this is going to be a little game where the Oregon State defense, I'm sure, is going to spend the week trying to regroup. They want to be the team playing these meaningful November games that has a good finish. That tonight, there have been a couple of things that have been shortcomings. We'll get into after Champ Fleming's return here. And there he goes, stopped right at the 20-yard line. And part of it will be included here as we show you a little bit of what's happened over this almost 4 quarters. Chase Garbers with this kind of night. 3 passing, 1 running.
As good of a performance as he's had all season long. One of the better of his career. And then the defense. I mean, you see right there, Bimage, Tevis, this defensive front, and then special teams. There's Oregon State getting a punt block a week ago. It's Cal today, Alton with the block. They've done it in all phases tonight, Ted.
So now Oregon State will have to be throwing the ball, and they take a shot looking at Cotoriano, the tight end, and then a diving pick. Yes, it is. Elijah Hicks playing Gold Glove center field. There is a flag down, and that may be post-play celebration.
Ruling on the field is an interception. After the interception, unsportsmanlike conduct, intercepting team number 28 is first of the game. 15-yard penalty, first down.
What a fabulous reception by a defensive back. Don't you love when they say that?
Well, he told us yesterday in the meetings, Elijah Hicks said, hey man, I want the ball. I want to be on the field in a huge moment. How about the coverage? You said center fielder. He did exactly that after getting beat for a touchdown earlier in the ball game. Covers all the way over to his right, hands underneath, diving, secures it. And it looks like he had it to me, Ted, and that sideline erupted.
Well, it's just been a terrific game. By the way, that celebration, unsportsmanlike conduct, foul, first penalty of the game. Marred the perfect game for Cal. No turnovers and now 1 penalty.
2 baseball notes here as the World Series is going.
All right, and now Cal going to try to run as much as they can here. And let's finish that point further about this game. Each time Oregon State has scored in this game, Cal has come back and scored on its very next possession. That's the defensive issue for Oregon State. Cal, which has not had a great red zone year, has been in the red zone 3 times tonight, 3 touchdowns.
And their offensive front met. And I got to imagine when Justin Wilcox presented the opponent, Oregon State, earlier this week to his team, I'm sure he said, hey, it's going to be the most physical game we play because we got to stop the run. And when you practice that way defensively against your offensive line all week, you kind of raise each other's performance, and that's what we've seen. The story to me, of course, is Chase Garbers, but it's also the O-line of the Cal Bears winning the line of scrimmage. And I can't say that all season long when you look at them on offense running the football. They haven't necessarily been that every single week, but man, have they been that today.
So Oregon State using its first timeout, kind of emptying emptying the barrel here to try to see if they can keep themselves alive. Both these teams will travel next week. Again, Cal in Arizona with a day game, and Oregon State at Colorado for a night game. Both will be on Pac-12 Network.
That's a good performance, man.
And we were talking at the beginning of the game about Cal trying to build on its turnaround, a win here last week. If they can finish this, and you're clearly going to Arizona believing that's a winnable game, that's a chance to have a nice, again, start of the second half win streak.
Yeah, and a bowl is a possible reality, right? If you lose this game, it's just really bleak. And you look at them now, they don't have to be perfect the rest of the way.
There you go, rugby. Jack Clark is smiling somewhere. Greatest college rugby coach in America right here at Cal.
How about this, too? How about the handoff? Watch Chase Garbers kind of push him in the back, say, go, big fella.
Yep.
Return the favor for that conversion earlier.
Those who are, if you're not aware, Cal's rugby program is legendary. One of the greatest. I don't know if they could play against the All Blacks or anything like that, but
all time.
But all time. And Jack Clark, man, that basically is the impresario of Cal rugby.
What's the deal? What's the deal?
And Brooks with another short run here. It's going to get Jonathan Smith using the second Oregon State timeout. Well, the other interesting twist out of this, unless we have a cataclysmic shift here in the last 3:43, is Washington State will be in second place in the Pac-12 North.
And who would have thought that? Right?
Saying Washington State will be in second place. They've won 4 games, and the Pac-12 North may well be decided at Autzen with 2 games. 2 weeks from today, the Cougs are in Autzen, and then, of course, the final Saturday, the Beavs are in Autzen.
Yeah, and in between those 2 games, Oregon goes to Utah.
Yes.
Which tonight...
Crowd noise and making sure there's no false starts and everything for their game tonight. Very, very concerned. I'm going to listen to that on my drive on the way home.
There better not be any false starts, that's for sure. But that's, you know...
Washington's playing at Stanford, by the way, tonight, we're saying, and, of course, UCLA, Utah. So 2 more night games, and we'll have all of the wrap-up. Guy Haberman and his team will be on Hand for After Dark way later tonight.
And how about Stanford UW? Both of those teams need a win.
Yes.
Badly.
Nice little run. Going to be just short of the first down line. Well, let's see. We'll see how generous the mark is here. Generous enough. It's going to be a first down.
That was as impressive of a 4 or 5 yard run as we've seen.
Nice job by Damian Moore, and that's going to be the clincher. With Oregon State with no timeouts now. Chase Garbers, see him glancing at that play clock, just milking every second here, but Cal can now just hand it off 3 more times and bleed much of what's left. Damian Moore, nice cutback. A second. How about Damian Moore? They're looking, the 2 officials calling it, and it is touchdown. The dagger from Damian Moore.
How about this cut? 1 cut, 2 cuts so low to the ground, understands where his blockers are, and then just a foot race. And watch him at the end, reaching out to the goal line just to touch it, keeps the ball in his arm, eyes up the defense. And the Cal Bears put an exclamation mark on this big upset at Memorial Stadium.
57 yards on the run. Again, ruled touchdown on the field, but they're calling Chris Coyle down to the monitor to take a look.
They're going to see if the knee touches before the ball crosses the plane. Look at how high and tight it is, though. You're talking about protecting the ball. Knee, that's going to be tough.
Yeah,
Did it cross the plane?
Yeah. So that may not be quite yet.
Yeah.
The dagger.
But think about this. As we keep taking a look at it, Cal's averaged 23 points a game this season, Ted. Offense.
Well, and I keep coming back, and I know it's easy to harp on simple things, and I'm simple. So you keep harping on things like red zone. Why does it matter? You look at Cal's. Look at what Sam has. All the Cal's offensive numbers this year. They all look really good, except for one. Points.
Yep.
They have a lot of good numbers, not a lot of points. Tonight, the points.
Yeah. And I think because of the decisions that Chase Garbers has made in the red zone, he's put them in position, right? He hasn't missed throws in the red zone. He's put enough air on the ball in the red zone. He's made the proper decision to keep it in the red zone. His command tonight, we called a bunch of his games in his long career here at Cal, it might be his most complete game. Right, the Stanford win on the road that we showed earlier was awesome, stage, the whole thing, but the complete game he had tonight was, I think, as good. I have to go back and watch, but it might be as good as we've seen in a long time.
The knee was down before the ball touched the pylon. The ball will be placed at the half-yard line.
All right, so the celebration for Damian Moore. We'll see if there's football justice here. Does Damian Moore come back out?
Well, if they're going to run a play, I hope.
There he is. Give him a touch. No, they got Dancy out there. Marcel Dancy running out. Yeah. Zay got 56.5, big boy. That was good enough.
Yeah.
And so, because he's ruled down inbounds, you see properly the clock has started.
Yep.
And so Cal, again, using the available time.
And I like this by Cal.
Yes. It's first and goal, so they can run it here and just kneel.
And these coaches have such great admiration for one another. Both came off the Chris Peterson coaching tree. Remember Justin, he was here as an assistant under Jeff Tedford. Of course, Jeff Tedford honored earlier tonight. And Jonathan Smith, this one's going to sting. But I also think for the Beeve fans, look where this program is, right? You're knocking on the door of a bowl game heading into November. And I would imagine that they're going to get that 6th win at some point the rest of the season, Ted, if not more.
We got another trip next week to Boulder. And it's a test for Oregon State, obviously. How do you rebound? This was not your best game.
Yeah. And for this,
it's probably I imagine it's the first time this year they feel like they got their own game handed to them, right?
yeah. I mean, you go back and you look at their losses at Purdue. Chance Nolan doesn't start the game at quarterback. I feel like they get on a little bit of roll. We had them at Washington State, where they go with a fake punt, lose a possession, and back come the Cougs. And those 2 games you could have seen go either way. I think to your point tonight, Cal, they won the line of scrimmage, man.
Yeah, they won the line of scrimmage. And again, I'm just going to say, the Washington State game we did, Washington State scored on 4 straight possessions in the second half, 4 straight touchdowns in the second half. That won them the game. And tonight, the Beaver defense, again, didn't play to the level I would think they expect to.
Yeah. And to me, Chase Garbers, he's the catalyst of this team. And he showed up, right? Got an immediate fumble on the first play of the game. Cal gets the ball, calls his own number, quarterback run on the bootleg. And then he sits in the pocket, sees the coverage on the wheel route wide open. Christopher Brooks deals for a touchdown. He's done it so many different ways. Deep play action, finding Clark down the sideline, big play, explosive play. And this might be the most impressive of the game for him. Avoids Omar Spates, climbs the pocket, eyes still downfield, not trying to run, puts enough air under it for a touchdown again to Brooks. Chase Garbers, best performance of the year.
And again, most impressively, Cal has answered each Oregon State score tonight. Every Beaver score, the next possession, the Bears offense has come back down the field and scored. All right, so Garber's on the third down play. Will hand off this time to Marcel Dancy. He gets swallowed up, and Callaghan not running it up here, not punching it in from the 1.5 yard line. You can see they can't end the game, but can take it down to what, 12 seconds, 11 seconds. And so we get for a Cal team that has a tough schedule ahead, having 3 of its last 4 away from home, including their rivalry game. That will be played at Stanford on November 20. The home game they have left is USC, but USC, as I'm sure our team will tell you more about in the postgame, has suffered a potentially devastating injury to Drake London during their game tonight, which we're hearing about it up here. It's hard to tell during a game, but you just feel sick for a young man because he's absolutely on my Heisman scorecard.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I mean,
9 catches, by the way, in the first half tonight. 9 catches, 2 touchdowns in a half.
Most dominant offensive player in this league. And we haven't had, you think of the last couple of years, he's in that dialogue.
All right, let's look at the Bears tonight, and this has been their offensive scorecard. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and
so Justin Wilcox and the California Golden Bears win back-to-back games at home. Greeting, the 2 guys know each other very well. Jonathan Smith and Justin Wilcox. The Beavers will get a test of their bounce back. Can they get that 6th win? Can they do it next week in Boulder? We will be there. We'll also have the Bears for you in Tucson next Saturday. But coming up next, most importantly, is our post-game report. Yogi's lacing them up right now. See how fast he can get down there. Nigel and Brian Lee for waiting, and we'll join Ashley coming up after Cal knocks off the Beavs in Berkeley.
It's the post-game report presented by 76, and Chase Garbers and the Cal Bears led this game start to finish, earning every bit of this 39-25 win over the Oregon State Beavers. After so many close losses, the California Bears have back-to-back wins. Ryan Leaf, Nigel Burton, Ashley Adamson back with you. A very happy home crowd here tonight on Halloween Eve. First win over Oregon State since 2018. Justin Wilcox said they were going to have to play a very clean game for them to win. 1 penalty, no turnovers. I think that qualifies.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Clean, Clorox, whatever. I mean, it doesn't get any cleaner. 1 penalty, no turnovers. They outrushed Oregon State 255 to 134, 5.4 yards a carry. Balanced offensively, threw for 262, ran for 255, even won the time of possession. How about this? 13 of 19 on 3rd down and blocked the punt. If it's any cleaner than that, I don't know what you can eat off it. So there you go.
Meeting with the coaches yesterday, Ashley, did you feel like there was a looseness to them, that they were just enjoying what was going on? And for the way the season has kind of unfurled for them, I was like, they know something we don't right now.
They seemed very comfortable.
Very comfortable. Mm-hmm. Chase Garbers in particular. And sure enough tonight, boy, he was the real deal.
He was. And we should mention the Bears defense. They were out with 2 of their starting linebackers, and they still were able to, you mentioned what they were able to hold Oregon State 100 yards below their rushing average.
They control the line of scrimmage. And when you control the line of scrimmage, it really doesn't matter if you have freshmen behind you. When the freshman linebackers don't even have to make any tackles because the D-line is doing all the work for you. They got pressure on Chance Nolan. And then the reason I think that you saw Chase Garbers and the coaching staff so confident and smiling, you saw from Bill Musgrave's play calling, there were times when they just knew. They knew the wheel routes coming out of the backfield to the running back. They knew when they had the throwback wheel into the back corner of the end zone. They knew that there were certain plays that they just kind of had. Like if they could get Oregon State in the right defensive call, that it was 6 points, and he called an outstanding football game today.
Do you want to know what's one of the most wild stats? As we're going to take a look at the highlight, and Chase Garbers is going to join us here in a minute. Jeff Tedford was here tonight being honored. Cal was 0-4 against Oregon State at home with Jed Tedford in attendance. So finally, the Cal Bears break the curse. And it was right from jump. B.J. Baylor, the fumble, and Marquez Bimage, who started in place of Cameron Good.
I think
able to
Coach
recover.
Tedford was on his way to the parking lot, and then that play happened. He's like, maybe I should stick around.
Chase Garber's doing it with his legs.
I tell you what,
Took a hit.
he was deadly running the football in addition to throwing the football. So, I mean, look, he ended up running for 5.8 yards to carry himself.
That was a big touchdown for Oregon State right before the half. It was 17-10 Cal at the break, third quarter.
And this is exactly what we're talking about. The wheel out of the backfield. They knew we were going to get one-on-one. They occupied the safety with the post. Touchdown Bears.
Christopher Brooks, a 38-yard strike. Cal on top 24-10. Deshaun Fenwick.
You know, we were sitting there watching this, and I said, I don't know. This kind of feels like one of those heartbreak Cal games. And then this happened.
Special teams, when you talk about how quickly it can change things, and special teams has not gone well for Cal this year, but Nick Alfton blocking the punt, and then
Next
how
play.
about this, Garbers.
And there it is again. They knew
Trayvon
it.
Clark.
Dialed it up.
31-17, fourth quarter. You knew the Beavs weren't done.
No, and this was interesting. There was a collision in the secondary, which allowed Trayvon Bradford to get loose. And again, could the Beavs come back, especially after this two-point conversion, which was interesting to call when you're only down 8. Analytics.
Yeah, you're down 6.
I tell you what, Chase and the group, they just kept answering. They answered the bell every single time. Oregon State threw him a punch. Cal brought it right back that
Counter.
same way.
It's all about how you respond, and Brooks gets a touchdown, then the two-point conversion. So Cal on top, 39-25. And Elijah Hicks, you remember what happened last week against Colorado?
And you wondered again, you were like, all right, are the Beavers going to counter again? And that was the nail in the coffin right there by Elijah Hicks.
Elijah Hicks with another big pick at the end of the game. And then Damian Moore.
He hit that L1 button.
That was a
That
nice
L1
cut.
button. That's all it was, right? Bye-bye.
And it was initially called a touchdown. It would be reviewed, and he was down at the 1-yard line, as you can see there.
I don't know.
You don't know about the L1 button?
I know
All I
about the
know-
L1 button. I don't know him about not being in the end zone there. I think he finished that one.
Justin Wilcox is a happy man. There's no doubt about that. A huge, huge win for Cal. They averaged 23 points a game coming in. They put up 39 tonight. Chase Garbers, another fantastic performance. 31st career start, 4 total touchdowns, 260 yards, 262 yards passing, and 58 yards rushing. I think I got that right. Chase, you look like you didn't even play. You're so calm, cool, and collected. Congratulations. How'd that one feel?
It felt great. You know, all 3 phases of our team played really well, and we're really excited to get this win.
You know, I'm curious. You got a huge win at home, getting things back on track. But your mom abandoned you. Went to go watch your little brother play. I mean, I'm just saying, you might have a bone to pick, and I don't know. I'm just wondering how you handled that.
Well, we'll let her slide with this one. She could go see little bro, but my dad's here, so either way, the family's still here.
Oh, that's awesome.
When we met yesterday, right, I told Ashley there just seemed to be a calm about you, like you maybe knew something that some of us didn't. What did you see in film this week that you could understand that you were going to make big plays like you did?
Well, I mean, they're a really good team in Oregon State, well coached, but the cool thing was they're very similar to our defense. So we see that defense every day in practice. We have been since fall camp. So we knew what we were getting most of the time. And our offensive line played great. You know, wide receivers, tight ends, everybody on the offense played great. Really proud of that group.
Your offense played great. Your defense played really well. Justin Wilcox yesterday said this is one of those games you just got to buckle up and put your mouthpiece in because there's no hiding from what they're going to do. Talk about what you saw from your defense and some big special teams plays as well.
Well, you know, all the credit goes to the defense. They played a really great game. We knew it was going to be a street fight against this team, so all 4 quarters we had to be ready to play. All 3 phases, offense, special teams, and defense played really well tonight.
You know, I'm curious, when we're sitting there and you can drop a game and you say, all right, here's the deal. I don't want any penalties. We can't hurt ourselves with any turnovers. And then let's make sure that we execute on 3rd down. And you look at the fact that you had 1 penalty, no turnovers, and you were 13 of 19 on 3rd down. I mean, Are those things, because there are teams that just kind of practice plays and go about it, but it seemed to me there was some situational awareness that you guys were really sharp on third down, those critical moments.
Yeah, I mean, we always practice situational football each and every week. It's our Wednesday for us. So we did a great job going out there and executing, and we had a really good game plan going forward.
I know you have to go celebrate with your team in the locker room. I know you also have a game to watch. Nigel alluded to it. Your brother Ethan is about to get his first collegiate start. In Salt Lake City, in dark mode, UCLA and Utah. How proud are you as a big brother to be able to go and watch him and know what he's about to do?
I'm really proud. I'm even more proud that I get to watch the game. So me and my dad are going to go watch that tonight.
First time ever in Pac-12 history that two brothers will start at quarterback in the same season. In the same season.
Yeah.
I mean, because somebody else had a brother who also
Started in the Pac-12. Yeah.
But I mean, what are you, about 12, 15 years older than he is?
I was going to say, same season? Yeah. Anyway, enjoy this one, and good luck to your brother.
Thank you.
What a night for the Garbers family. They get the win here at home, and then next week at Arizona. Good news, we get to tag along for that one as well. The pregame show is headed to Tucson.
We just follow winners, Ash.
We just follow winners. That's what we do.
Follow winners.
And then USC at Stanford at UCLA. So the good thing about this win, and Yogi Roth pointed this out in the broadcast, if they want to become bowl eligible, which is obviously the goal, you now only need to win 3 of the last 4. You don't have to be perfect on the way out. And you think about this program, they came so close. They had so many frustrating, devastating losses in the first part of the season. For them to come out and now beat Colorado the way they did and then turn around and take down Oregon State.
What they were able to do coming out at halftime, right? Because that was the thing that they've really struggled with. Even when they were up big against Colorado, they just seemed to kind of just trudge along. But today, first time they touched the ball in the second half, big score. They continued to do that the rest of the way.
Yeah, that says a lot about Justin Wilcox and his staff, because there are a lot of programs that had that much expectation, and then to come out of the gates the way that they did with a heartbreaking loss at UW, another heartbreaking loss. You could lose a team sometimes because they'll start losing faith, like, oh man, we just move on to next year or whatever it is, and that's not what happened here. These guys just kept working, and you're seeing the fruits of all that labor with back-to-back wins, and now they head on the road.
And that's what I said. He said, look, you can take the frustration, and what you got to do is go get better and make sure that then you're translating that into wins on Saturday, which is what they've been able to do
Coach.
The last couple of weeks.
Coach.
That's right. Are you going to get your Halloween costume back on?
It's a little chilly. I don't know. I might Care Bear it up.
We got a lot more from this game coming up, so don't go away. And then the Oregon Ducks, they rolled at home, taking down the Buffs. USC at home, a tough injury to one of the stars in the Pac-12. We'll update you on it all on the other side of the break.